Game 4, it is time. We're about to like a mini halftime, so to speak, and we're getting right into the action as we're jumping on board our Game 3 Victory Royales, where they were able to reverse their fortune. And I think one of the big reasons why, Sundown, that they were able to walk away with the Victory Royale was that Mongrel was there. Last time in Game 2, he wasn't there. He went down before that final push, and Tayson and Mitro were unable to close the door there. But Mongrel was a big factor there and was able to put in some nice elims. One of the strongest closers in the EU region. A lot of Mongrel's eliminations come in at in-game. But, hey, Mitro is no slouch either. Mitro was the only one to get a big-time knock, get that siphon, and hold on true for the Victory Royale.
Yeah, and you can see right now, actually, Mongrel and Tayson both picking up knocks, haven't quite been confirmed into eliminations. You can see trying to make sure they're going to end up getting these players coming out of the storm, because every single point does matter. This kind of goes back to my other point about herding kittens. I mean, Tayson said trying to IGL Mongrel and Mitro at the same time. It's like, frag, we got these guys. He's like, no, stay, play late. And Mitro's just like, no, go. It's like trying to tell Mitro and Mongrel not to go. It just doesn't really work, even to the point right now, Mitro still hanging out a little bit extra, making sure he gets the down again, because something that's important to note, if you knock somebody and they get revived and then you don't get any damage on them again and then they end up going down, you're not going to get the elimination point on it. So that revive is effectively just denying them those elim points, as they're going to have such a long rotation. Mitro still just doing his best to kind of hang out, get shots back in towards the storm. He finds another one. That's Baby Girl Fly getting put down there. We've seen, you always say can't put Baby in a corner, but that's really all that's happened here in EU, as Mitro picking up another knock there, and hopefully they'll be able to convert at least one of these into an elim. You have to think eventually that team will go down.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, and these, every point that matters. Each elim is 1 point. 4th through 17th gets placement points of 1. 3rd, 2nd get a little bit of bonus right there. And, of course, the Victory Royale, 25 points. And they are using that whiplash created by Tony Stark so well. And we haven't even talked about this. The removal temporarily of gas canisters has kind of changed the way these rotations are. So that increases the value as another elim. I just think right now, we saw Captain Shayo taking us through. They're flying at a high, like the highlight right now. They're on a G6. They're on an entire different level. They're flying through the competition right now, and that is why I picked them to walk away with the victory, big-time dub royale here in Week 3.
So I think it's, again, I don't want to say, I think it's easy to kind of talk about just how dominant they've been. But you can see Kinzel, one of the 3 EU players to make every solo finals this year, FNCS and DreamHack going through. Somebody else who's been able to be a little bit consistent. I mean, they're so good. We talked about it a little bit before. They're so good when they're good and they're on. But again, as we've seen in this week, they're more than capable of just getting 50-50 out at that spot. And we've seen teams opt to end up going over to Stark as a pivot drop point, as opposed to a lot of other places, simply because the amount of loot that's there, if you are able to get control, then you're able to just really rack up kind of the points that's associated with it. But winning that fight against those 3 players is just such a monumental task that it really seems like nobody wants to challenge them consistently. And if they have that loot and they don't make a mistake, then the onus generally has been on them to not lose the game. They will have high ground control. They will be raining down shots. They will hit those shots. As we're hopping on board here, 7tour and Link. Little bit of a struggle bus today. 0 points so far after the first 3 games. Let's see if they can pick it up here in game number 4.
And that 3rd user is Freemock. Yes, the struggle, the shambles, whatever you want to say. Low on points. 0, goose egg, nothing, nada, zilch. All those kind of metaphors and sayings means you could only go up from here, baby. You know what I mean? You got to turn that negative into the positive. You got to find the motivational warrior within and try to find a way to get on the board. It could be this game right here, right now for Link, Freemock, and 7tour to turn it around. I believe. I like to be the Nikkei 30 in me, the power of positivity, just to believe that they could get it done. As we're seeing some explosions happening, and we're taking a look at the zone here, the mini-map on the bottom right, we're seeing that this is going to be a finish that's going to be around the caddy corner area, and big time, trade hard, gets eliminated so far, but Link gets knocked for a moment. So that's going to be unable to capitalize, but they do lose Fremont in that exchange.
What a weird fight. I mean, he has 4 shockwaves. It makes sense to hit that, but he gets hit with just a monstrous 180 shot before getting the siphon. Then opts to shockwave disengage just completely away from the rest of his team as one of his teammates gets cleaned up. That's 7 Tor. It's going to get confirmed over there. We're going to hop back on board here with Hen, Deceptors, and Patrick. Big shot coming out from Hen. That's 110 to the back, cracking the armor there. And the push is going to come in. You can see throwing that ramp out and editing it just so he can see through there. And he finds another back-to-back connections. The second one being a headshot, though. Mick the Beast doing his best impression there to catch the bullet. And now the push is on.
The spirit of Thomas HD is around, not competing today, but is already qualified. But you're just seeing the talent pool, how deep it is. We're talking about 12-footer, 15-footer. I don't know how much is that in meters out there. I know the conversion is real. I'm an American. I don't know much about that metric system. But what I do know that Hen is converting so many big-time players into one-pointers on their leaderboard. The conversions are real. The science is there. And Hen is going to go for another one. And Hen is not, he can't be stopped. He's not going to stop. The only thing that may stop him here, Sundown, is the storm damage.
Yeah, it's just weird, though, because if he's going to take that fight, which he'll ultimately end up getting with the Storm taking it over, and the Siphon really keeping him still in play here after he messes up that rotation as well. But I felt like at least one of his teammates could have turned and maybe helped him with a little bit of a rifle shot to figure out what was going on there. But ultimately, good job to get out of it. Not clean, but sometimes you don't have to be the best. You just have to be better than the person across from you. And Hen's going to be the one who rules the roost. As now we're going to rotate on over. Milan, Alexa, a.k.a. Queasy, and Chapix making the rotation along the outside of the mountain. But right now, up on the high ground there, you can see Fazil and Co. You have Sapiros just towards the outside there with Jerky and Halfdom, occupying a little bit of a split ground there. You can see they don't necessarily want to contend all the way for high ground yet, as now we get a battle down here on the low ground. We got Squeeze, Janice, and Andalex trying to trade some shots across these boxes.
Nice shots going through the double beams. You're seeing the window edit, sending everything through. You're hearing the harpoon go out, but for a brief moment, they got a 180 turn their attention right there. But the big time thing that they're going to have here is a huge factor would be their shockwaves. 5 shockwaves in their inventory, and that is something you want to highlight, bold, underscore. You want to kind of blow up. I don't know what kind of Photoshop you want to do. That is going to be a huge factor for them going forward. If they could hold true, if they could navigate, not only that, it's going to be able to, they can have 5, so they can spend some and navigating this dangerous rotations. You're taking a look, the mountainous danger that's ahead of them. They could kind of expense that there, Sundown. I know they want to hold on to it, but hey, it doesn't matter if you've been eliminated. You got to use them or lose them.
And more importantly, too, if you think you're going to go down, you can't save that utility for later, and you don't want it trickling into the next person. So use every tool at your dispense right now. Here's CRR trying to get a sneaky little double edit going on. You can see setting himself up. Teammate above him will edit down Wolfies, but he's going to find the shot there on to Snowda. Can he get the cleanup? Will get it. Can he get back over to cover Wolfies? Some rifle fire coming into the back. Good job covering himself up right now, but CRR in a little bit of trouble. Is going to miss the edit for a second, but he's going to find it. Absolutely zero build, so looking for just a little bit of space. Instead, going to take the rifle fight. The question is, does he win it? We'll wait for that replay to catch up real quick, and no, never going to win that one. Doxson able to pick up another Elam on the last side. There's Janice and Andalex who are going to go over, but they're not going to find much loot for the pickings there. Only the extra 150 builds, so just 15 mats coming out of that. As now we're hopping on board here. Alpha, Blaster, and Nikov. Billy Goats up on the hill in 5th zone. Pulls out. They're going to shockwave and try and maintain some semblance of height control. Instead, nope, just going to opt for the ground as somebody has already gotten there and pulled that 4th zone special, Sancho.
And we saw here, you know, that is what happens in these rotations as a trio. The shockwave is just so difficult to kind of control your trajectory. You could take the time to do the build to kind of send you forward, but there's going to be a moment, there's like a mad scramble, as we saw in the previous game, a mad scramble for you to kind of reunite. And there is always a sigh of relief when you get together, when you say, on me, in a positive way, not that you're looking for some elims. When you say on me, get together, kind of reunite, and that's where the in-game leaders come into play. They kind of keep everyone together. They are the yarn between everybody. They keep even those crazy dogs out there on a leash as much as possible to hold true before they send them out to get elims, like the mongrels, like the mitros. And they are seeing Nakos picks up an elim on Mappy. Mappy did really well on the DreamHack stage, making it to the grand finals, but Mappy unable to find a footing right now. One of those teams that needing the big-time qual as Doxson gets eliminated from Alpha. I've been liking this squad, this trio here, Sundown. They've been consistent and they've been doing really well. They have an opportunity to kind of vault their way or ollie their way up the leaderboards with a strong finish here right now.
Well, and Alpha and Blaster have been around forever. They're originally the dual media duo back in the World Cup days who qualified together, then adding in the veteran of Mikov. You can see they play that very similar style that we've seen out of a lot of other French trios where hip to hip, get a layer, stick together, and when you go as one. But right now we see Paco, Jachu, and Wave Advise trying to find a little bit of room here. Not necessarily going to find it, but also not finding much contention. They have like a little bit of space, but not necessarily a ton. Jachu has been taken down, so it is just Paco and Advise trying to navigate on this low ground area, which is going to get very congested very quickly as we move into zone number 6. That's the start of those full moving zones. It's Paco just trying to navigate from the other side of the wall. We're going to cut away here and see who has control of the front side of the zone, who's in the backside chaos, and then who's up top. And there you go. You can see right away players trying to get out of the backside chaos. That's Paco. He says, nope, first try wasn't enough. Going to hit the bouncy castle again. He lands on top of Wolfies for the 200-0. Say goodbye. That's the second place in the World Cup duo with Rojo being taken down there. And excuse me, are you trying to stick a revive right there? Absolutely no way. Paco makes him pay for it. 5th elimination coming out. 18 trios remaining. 42 players left. Next trio to fall will miss out on the placement points as we are now into the end game.
And this end game is going to be a tough one to kind of navigate as the terrain is getting more highly elevated right there. This is the old school Blaster and Nikov and Alpha trying to make sure they kind of hold on. And there it goes. It's actually going back. So they're going from the back side of the storm to the front side. And already, this is what's great for the trios to kind of keep tabs of their builds. They're going to be able to navigate through it. And bang! Eliminated. Refsguard gets lobbied right then and there. Refsguard was doing his best, ratting his way. I saw him Billy going on the side, but he ran right into the blast of Blaster. 5 right then and there. 1 point going towards this trio. But this is what you're seeing. This is going to allow the people that are on the low ground to kind of wait around a little bit, but at the same time, it gives a huge advantage to the people on the high ground because all they have to do is recycle their build, Sundown.
And right now, back on board here with one of only the 2 trios to make every single one of those round 3s. Amplify, ADN, Matzo. Again, low ground, backside of zone. Generally, they're hip-to-hip. Amplify right now, searching for a drop-down. He's got to get it. 56 on the first. Will he find the follow-up? And he does. If Sapiros cleaning up one of the solo, that's a 2-point elimination. 1 for the placement, 1 for taking down the player. And as you can see, we'll have chug splashes as well. Going to opt to use them on himself, so not necessarily the worst decision. You can see them allocating the correct resources, and this is how a top team plays the end game. We've seen it time and time again, and if you want to study, if you want to know how to play the low ground and how to play multiple positions, keep an eye on Matzo, Amplify, and ADN. They do it so incredibly well. Finding space to just kind of navigate. That's Matzo getting the conversion onto Mappy there. Letwick also gets a knock onto Mongo. He'll get that full conversion. Mitro goes down to Amplify. Amplify ending up with a great little ambush. He makes it a double. Now we got to find the outside of the zone, but no movement. We'll have the bouncer. Doesn't have anything to necessarily connect himself to, so the question is, can he survive on the outside? He's now on the right side of the zone. You see Deceptos, Patrick, and Hand up on the current high ground. Amplify did get in. He's now on the front side of the zone. He met up with Matzo, a little pincer attack to keep them together. Hen is in the top right. Blaster and Co, though, cleaning up Amplify there. He's now in the bottom right and taking over with his 3rd elimination. You can see the zone pulling off of the mountain with Deceptos on the high ground on the left.
The Septos has a great split. That's the ultimate height, and you're seeing that Putrick is kind of sharing some more builds as Putrick and Hen are just going to apply the pressure. They are just squeezing down the bottom of it like a tube of toothpaste right now. They're going to get every squeeze as much as possible.
Blaster!
And this is where the Elim. Blaster is cooking up on the Elim. He is doing really well, cleaning up all the germs down below. And Puchik and Hen still have a strong position. No doubt Deceptos on height will have some sort of mobility to get down. But the story is, can Blaster's trio kind of survive the onslaught of Hen and Puchik?
And he got shockwaves from that double. He got the double, and they're trying to go up. There's the first, there's the second, and they're up on the high ground. Blaster able to take it away, but Deceptos hits the falling shot. Alpha and Blaster meet their end, and the back of Hen. Hen now out in the zone, raining shots back in, has one flopper, gonna pop the flop, but he mistimed it. He popped the flopper as the siphon came in. He lost an effective time. Zone going to full close, but it doesn't matter. The young Englishman from Become Legends, ever since he won that solo cash cup on his birthday, he has been running 10 eliminations to himself, 13